Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Young and the Restless channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Now, let's jump straight into today's exciting update. The world of the Young and the Restless may be preparing for one of its most heartbreaking twists yet, because all signs suggest that Matt Clark's hard-earned redemption could be standing on dangerously fragile ground. For months, viewers have watched a man who once inspired fear slowly transform into someone desperately trying to outrun the darkness of his past, creating a journey that seemed almost impossible when it first began. His newfound compassion, awkward charm, and sincere determination to become a better person have convinced many that perhaps even the most broken soul deserves another chance. Yet beneath that hopeful transformation lingers an unsettling question that refuses to disappear. Has Matt truly changed, or has fate merely pressed pause on the monster that once lived inside him? As hope and uncertainty collide, the future begins to feel less like a promise and more like a ticking clock waiting for everything to fall apart. From the very beginning, there was something undeniably strange about the circumstances that changed Matt's life forever. Everything shifted after the devastating head injury that robbed him of his memories, wiping away not only his past, but seemingly the very personality that had defined him for so long. Without the burden of remembering who he had been, Matt appeared almost like a completely different man. Someone who approached life with innocence instead of manipulation, and kindness instead of cruelty. It was as though the accident had erased years of darkness and given him an unexpected second chance to rediscover himself. But that fragile peace could never last forever, because memories have a way of finding their way back, no matter how deeply they are buried. When Matt finally recovered the truth about his past, the flood of horrifying memories crashed into him all at once, forcing him to confront every terrible crime and every life he had shattered. Rather than embracing that darkness again, he was horrified by what he had once become, and the guilt that consumed him made his commitment to change seem painfully genuine. Since then, fans have witnessed a version of Matt that almost feels impossible to reconcile with the man they once knew. The ruthless schemer has been replaced by someone who often comes across as a lovable goofball, stumbling through life with an awkward sincerity that makes him surprisingly easy to root for. Instead of chasing revenge or manipulating those around him, he has devoted himself to becoming a better man, determined never to inflict that kind of pain on anyone ever again. Every decision he makes seems driven by remorse. Every smile carries traces of someone trying to earn forgiveness. And every small victory feels like another step away from the darkness that once consumed him. For longtime viewers, the transformation has been so dramatic that it hardly feels like they are watching the same character anymore. The contrast is almost unbelievable, leaving audiences wondering whether redemption this complete can truly last in the unpredictable world of Genoa City. Behind the scenes, however, another possibility begins casting a long shadow over Matt's future. It certainly appears that the Young and the Restless head writer, Josh Griffith, envisioned a long-term redemption story for Matt, carefully reshaping him into someone worthy of remaining in Genoa City. His evolution has opened new relationships, created emotional storylines, and allowed audiences to experience a side of Matt they never imagined could exist. But television is constantly evolving, and creative changes often reshape the destinies of beloved characters. If a new head writer eventually takes control of the series, there is absolutely no guarantee they will share Griffith's vision for Matt's future. Soap operas have a long history of dramatic cast shakeups whenever leadership changes behind the scenes, And that reality raises uncomfortable questions about Roger Howarth's future on the show. Even the most carefully planned redemption arc can disappear overnight if new creative decisions send the story in a completely different direction. Should that happen, the simplest and perhaps the most devastating way to write Matt out of the story would be to destroy everything he has worked so hard to become. Instead of allowing his redemption to continue, the writers could send him spiraling backward into the darkest version of himself imaginable. That fall might happen in an instant, with all of his sinister impulses returning like a tidal wave that overwhelms every ounce of goodness he has fought to build. Or perhaps the descent would be slower and even more heartbreaking, beginning with subtle cracks in his self-control before growing into something far more terrifying. Viewers could watch him wrestle with thoughts he desperately wants to suppress, struggling against violent instincts that refuse to stay buried. Every victory over those impulses might become a little weaker than the last, until exhaustion, temptation, and inner torment finally wear him down. In the end, the battle within Matt could conclude in the worst possible way, with him surrendering completely and embracing the darkness he once believed he had escaped forever. If that transformation unfolds, Matt's return to villainy could become even more dangerous than anything audiences have seen before. Unlike the ruthless criminal everyone once feared, this new version would possess something far more valuable: trust. Even though the Newman family may never completely erase the memories of everything Matt has done, they no longer see him as the immediate threat he used to be. Time, remorse, and apparent redemption have softened their defenses, creating a level of comfort that simply didn't exist only a few months ago. That false sense of security could become the perfect weapon in Matt's hands if he decides to abandon his redemption. Quietly, patiently, and without raising suspicion, he could position himself closer than ever to the people who once stood against him. Then, just when no one expects it, he could unleash a devastating sneak attack that leaves the entire Newman family blindsided, proving that the greatest danger often comes from the enemy everyone believes has changed. The emotional devastation would not stop with the Newmans. One person who stands to lose even more is Phyllis Summers, whose growing connection with Matt has slowly blossomed into something that feels increasingly sincere. As the two continue growing closer, Phyllis has begun lowering the walls around her heart, allowing herself to believe that the man standing before her truly is different from the one who caused so much destruction in the past. Their relationship has offered moments of hope, suggesting that even someone burdened by unimaginable mistakes might still find love and acceptance. But if Matt's redemption ultimately proves to be nothing more than a temporary illusion, then Phyllis could become one of his greatest victims. The heartbreak of discovering that the man she trusted has been consumed by darkness once again would shatter not only her faith in Matt, but perhaps her faith in second chances altogether. The emotional fallout would be every bit as devastating as any physical act of revenge, leaving scars that could linger long after the truth is finally revealed. As the story continues unfolding, the biggest question remains impossible to ignore. Is Matt Clark's redemption truly real, or is it merely a brief detour before destiny drags him back into the shadows where he once belonged? For now, The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that Matt and Phyllis will continue falling deeper for one another, allowing hope to flourish while the future still appears bright. Yet soap operas have a way of turning hope into heartbreak with little warning, and the peaceful life Matt has been building could unravel in the blink of an eye. Every smile, every promise, and every tender moment may ultimately become part of a much larger tragedy if the darkness waiting beneath the surface finally breaks free. Whether Matt remains the remorseful man audiences have grown to love or reclaims the ruthless villain he once was, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The road ahead is filled with uncertainty, and the next chapter could change everything for everyone caught in his orbit.